What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Let's Play Silent Hill 3. When we left off last time, we were just about to read this memo, so let's start off checking that out. Dr. Midkiff, please use extra caution with the patient in room 312. He should still have his religious freedoms here in the hospital, but he shouldn't push his faith onto others. I'm a victim, too. Rumor has it he got here by stabbing someone over a religious dispute. Please be careful. R. Crosby. P.S. It looks like the rumor's true, according to the head nurse. I do think he's a good person otherwise, though. Easy to deal with. So even though he stabbed somebody over a religious dispute, the doctor thinks he's still a pretty good guy. In spite of the whole stabbing someone thing. Yeah. So we're gonna head around. I think this is the day room. There's another memo waiting for us in here. And I believe this is also about the same person who was just mentioned. I wonder who could be the subject of that memo. The world is teeming with unnecessary people. It's God's decision that I fight. As a knight of honor, as a protector of the seal, I sacrifice myself to the blood of criminals. Looks like a 5-year-old drew that. I don't know any 5-year-old who considers him a martyr for a cult, though. You think you're one of the necessary ones? Whoever wrote this? Also, he mentions that he's the protector of the seal. And Heather has, in fact, heard that phrase before. Before we head out to the other side of the day room, the southeast side, I'm gonna make sure that my shotgun is loaded, because we have a whole bunch of enemies up ahead, and there should be a nurse with a revolver in here. No, it's just a pipe, so we'll run straight by. This hallway is so hellish, I hate it. There are no less than 3 slurpers in this hallway and a nurse with a gun. And so firing at the first slurper gets the attention of everything else in this hallway. But if everyone in this hall is being nice to me, then they'll all approach one by one, which they seem to be doing. It's very important to constantly count how many bullets you've used. Oh my god, he's moving so quick. I'm getting really lucky with the pathing, I think. They're not attacking me, even though they're closing the distance so well. Okay. I think that's 6. Yeah. If you run out and you have to reload, you're basically guaranteed to take damage. So we'll run up to her. I just ran up to her to make sure that she couldn't lock her sights on and fire off a shot. That revolver does so much damage. Okay, so the danger I think is past, but we used up like at least a few dozen, well not a few dozen, at least a dozen shotgun shells there, and they're few and far between. Also, happy first birthday. Kind of interesting note. This is room C1. Let's see how many we have 3 nurses. This is room C1, where the birthday caller from the last episode told us that he would be leaving presents for us. Let me deal with these nurses first. Oh. Luckily, I was able to block that hit in time. I'm running a little bit low on shotgun shells now, since I had to deal with the 2 slurpers and the nurse in that room. So I'm going to switch to the handgun. I have plenty of ammo for this. I wonder if it gave me health or ammo. I think it might have Oh yeah, health. I think it's because I have so much handgun ammo that it gives me health here. Okay, so about this room. Room C1, this room, is locked if you don't take the optional call from the birthday caller, the mysterious voice, back up in the locker room. If you miss that call, this room is locked and you can't get in here. Now, what you get in here, here's the comment. If I didn't need this stuff, he wouldn't have given it to me. So the gifts you get here depend on how much ammo you're carrying versus how much health items you're carrying. That's what the guy asked on the phone. Do you like to give pain or do you like to receive it? You can have what you hate the most. So if you have fewer total bullets, you get bullets. And the amount you get varies based on how big the difference between how many healing items and how many bullets you have is. Also, the other thing that varies in that room, depending on how big that difference is, you fight different amounts of nurses. You can fight 3 is the maximum. I think 1 is the minimum, though. Lost memories. One characteristic mentioned only in rare documents and dying out in the modern age is that of ritual sacrifice. Oh, pleasant. Offering prayers, pierce a man's chest with a copper stake. Drench the altar in blood, which spouts red from the heart, to praise and to show loyalty unto God. In another sacrificial rite, mentioned in the same book, the victim is burned alive. This was a more dignified ceremony in which prisoners and sinners were not allowed to participate. Only the clergy could be sacrificed. Similar to burning at the stake, no comparable rite can be found in religions practiced nearby. It may have some connection with the main deity being a sun god. Praise the sun! Praising intensifies. Even though this religion extols redemption, it brings to mind a dark and cultish history. I don't know. Maybe that's because it's a cult. So there was one very important passage to pick up on in there that's actually relevant to the gameplay. Remember we filled a plastic bag up with blood late in the last episode? Well, the passage mentioned part of the rite of sacrifice being to drench an altar in blood. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're gonna follow the blood path. Blood paths always lead to happy, serene places.
Heather?
Yeah? Leonard, where are you?
Thank you. Now I can finally leave here. Now Claudia's ridiculous dream is over. Well, I guess it's time to dispose of her. The salvation of all mankind. Ha! Why must we reward even the unbelievers?
What are you talking about?
About our plans, of course. It's true that God is merciful, but first, one must be chosen. Only we, who hearken to the voice of God, will be given the keys to paradise. Don't you think so, Leonard?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and think whatever you want.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that I don't think the way you guys do. I don't want any part of that kind of paradise.
You're an unbeliever. You deceived me.
I didn't deceive you. We were both just wrong about each other. I thought you were a normal person.
So you tried to trick me so you can run off with my seal, eh? Heretic! You plan to destroy God!
I told you I wasn't trying to trick anyone. What is this seal thing anyway?
Don't play innocent. You can't fool me anymore. The seal is mine! I was appointed by God to be its guardian! The only thing you'll get from me is a gruesome death.
Leonard, is that you?
Death to all who turn their backs on God!
Is person here a mental case? Well, I guess you're not a person anyway.
This big, slow, disfigured, lumbering fellow is the corporeal form of Leonard Wolf. And this boss fight takes place in slow motion because we are currently Teenage Mutant Ninja Heather. This is not a terribly complicated or difficult boss fight. He does not have many attacks. Mostly what he tries to do is he tries to swim up underneath you and then pop up and do damage as soon as he comes close. So just keep your distance. Not really hard to do. He likes to meander kind of blindly around this arena for no reason. Take note of the back of this arena, though. Those spinning blades. If you get too close, they will just kill you automatically. Aside from that, this is a really, really easy boss. Just takes a bit to kill him, especially with a handgun. If I had the shotgun, this would go a little bit quicker. But I don't really have that many shells left for the shotty. So, Leonard... Who could have guessed Leonard is not going to be on our side? Leonard is the one the birthday caller called a murderer, and then the memo from the start of the episode kind of confirmed that when he said that he stabbed some guy over a religious dispute, so he's also deceived us in the fact that he's a secret religious zealot, except his views on the cult are a little bit different than those of his daughter, not Dahlia, Claudia Wolf. Also, he looks a little bit like a clicker. So, we've been talking now a lot about the seal and Metatron and the Seal of Metatron and how Leonard is the guardian of the seal. I just remember this, but do you remember in Silent Hill 1 when Dahlia tells Harry that she's trying to complete the Seal of Metatron to ward the evil of the town away? But it actually turned out to be the Seal of Samael, and it was she was using that to expedite the process of birthing God and all of that. Well, Leonard here has the actual Seal of Metatron, and it's going to become a very important factor later on in the game. But first, we have to kill Leonard. And as you can see, everything's going pretty smoothly. I can't remember exactly how many bullets he takes, but I have like 200 handgun bullets, so one way or another, sooner or later, he's going down. I lost track of him, though. Oh, he's on the far side. Oh, no. Yeah, occasionally he'll do this where he just swims in a serpentine manner around the arena, around the pool. That should be it, though. Ah, he throws up his hands like, I'm done, fine.
Leonard's not here anymore. I guess I should head back to the motel now. I hope Douglas is okay. Huh? What's this?
And that talisman, if you saw what was drawn on it, that's the Seal of Metatron. And now, with Leonard dead and the seal in our possession, we are finally done with Brookhaven Hospital. And we can get back out onto the streets of Silent Hill. But first, I think we have another cutscene coming up. Our second one with Vincent.
Why did you send her to my father?
Was that wrong?
It's your fault that he...
Oh, but surely it's a good thing. It means he was one of God's beloved, no?
Those who mock God will never receive salvation. You'll go to hell, Vincent. You'll never feel the joy of God's everlasting paradise.
And you think God is going to save you? Ha!
What do you know anyway?
I know about the pleasures of this world. And I want to find my happiness while I'm still here. You hated your father, didn't you? I saw the way he hit you, and kicked you, and made you cry. The memory of his cruelty is forever burned into my mind.
Yes, and that's why we need God.
What you call faith is nothing more than a child crying out for love. That's why you're all alone.
You don't understand. None of you do.
Alright, so that was Claudia and Vincent arguing back at the motel. So that was something that Heather was not privy to. That was a conversation she has no knowledge took place yet. But now we are going to make our way back through the densely shrouded in fog streets of Silent Hill. We're going to make our way back to room 106 of the motel, provided I remember which way to go. Because you can see it's basically impossible to see which way you're going out here. This might be the foggiest it's ever been. I really like how much of the layout from Silent Hill 2 is kept intact here. And it's not just like retreading old ground the whole game, because the hospital is so different, and you spend so much of the game outside of Silent Hill, so by the time you get here, you're like, oh, I remember this. It's exactly the same as when James was here. The pamphlet, Heaven's Night, the gas station, Neely's, Pete's Bolorama, all that stuff. It's laid out pretty much the same. And it's put in the right spot in the game where you don't feel like, oh, they're just reusing assets now. Instead, it feels really nostalgic, which is nice. Oh, God, we haven't seen a dog in a while. That surprised me. That actually caught me off guard. Yeah, we're pretty close to Jackson now. I also think it's kind of interesting that this game is a direct sequel to 1, but you explore the same areas as in 2. I guess it's more of a limitation of the tech and the engine and the assets, because they would have to by hand recreate all of the areas from Silent Hill 1 because that was on the PS1. Whereas with Silent Hill 2, they can kind of use the old assets and old level layouts from Silent Hill 2.
Where's Douglas?
He went out. But he left a message for you.
Was there someone else here just now?
No, just me. Don't you want to know what the message is?
Yeah, what did he say?
The church is on the other side of the lake.
Church? Wonder what he meant by that.
You don't understand? That's where Claudia is. Across the lake. On the north side. If you're going, you better go through the amusement park. It's probably the only way in now. Go northwest on Nathan Avenue. It's a bit far, but closer than heaven.
Is that it for the message?
Uh-huh.
Thanks. Douglas really said that?
What's wrong? You don't trust me?
Okay, now, so we're heading northwest on Nathan Avenue, across the lake, and the amusement park is going to be on our way before we get to the church where Claudia is. And, like Vincent said, it's a bit far. We have a long walk ahead of us. So I could fast forward through that walk, or I could get around to addressing something I meant to address a long time ago. But there's just been so much going on, I haven't had a chance to. So I think I'm going to do that instead. 2 comments that I've been seeing a lot. Should I buy the HD collection, or are you playing on the HD collection? The answer to both of those is a resounding no. And here's why. The HD collection of Silent Hill, which includes Silent Hill 2 and 3, is a disgraceful, buggy embarrassment. And the reason for that is because Konami lost the source code for Silent Hill 2 and 3. The 2 best games in one of the most beloved game franchises of all time. They lost the source code. Konami had the holy trinity of Castlevania, Metal Gear, and Silent Hill, and they lost the fucking source code for the 2 best Silent Hills. That's unimaginable. The mother of all fuck-ups. So they basically had to take whatever build was still around at the time and retrace Team Silent's development steps while also updating it for HD, for the HD consoles. I remember distinctly one line from a Tom Hewlett interview way back when the HD collection first came out. He said they encountered a bug at one point where Heather turned blue. And maybe some of the stuff that I'm about to talk about got patched, but when the HD collection came out, there were audio sync bugs, the frame rate was erratic, entire textures were just missing, cutscenes could sometimes run at 1 frame per second. The fucking boat section on Toluca Lake was disgusting looking. They even managed to screw the fog up trying to make the visuals look sharper. What else? They changed the voice actors, some of which were worse. The games would freeze. Silent Hill 3 in particular was almost unplayable when it came out. Or I mean when the HD collection came out. I don't know how much the patch fixed. I've heard not everything. And that is just... Konami should be embarrassed for having released that. They at one point had to apologize and offer people who bought the game free games from their library. I don't remember what they got. They showed it to Masahiro Ito and he was just like, really? That's it? Oh my god, they shouldn't have even released it in this state. And if anyone from Konami is watching this, I will probably get put on some kind of shit list. Just like they blacklisted Jim Sterling for criticizing them. Speaking of Sterling, I might have told this story already, but another fun tale of Konami being totally incompetent. They released this really mediocre action game, Blades of Time, a few years ago, and Tak Fuji was the producer on it, and he visited the States during the game's launch window, and he could not find a single copy of his game anywhere. So Sterling had a good old time covering the story. He lives in Mississippi, and he was trying to find, at one point, a review copy of the game, and he used GameStop's online store locator thing to try to hunt a copy down. The closest one to him, keeping in mind that he is in Mississippi at this point, was in New Jersey. And then my favorite part of all of this is 3 days after the game came out in the US, Konami announced the game's release. Like they just fucking forgot for 3 days they had a game come out. That is the modern day Konami. And it pains me so much to say that because I have loved most incarnations of Castlevania from the very original through the point where it became Metroidvania. Lords of Shadow 1 is really good. It's been one of those rare series that since its inception way back has just continued to be good. There have been some shitty games in the series along the way, but still good. Silent Hill. You all know how much I love Silent Hill. Metal Gear, you guys might know that I'm not a big fan of Metal Gear, except Metal Gear Solid 3. It's really good. And Revengeance. Either way, like, it's such a shame that Konami, who has so many jewels in their crown, has become what they are right now. It's shameful. Shameful and embarrassing. But I have taken up enough time of this Let's Play of one of my favorite games ever, whining and moaning and being negative. But yeah, I just had to get all of that out of the way and clear the air.
I hired you to find the girl, and you performed serviceably. What is it now?
You lied to me about Heather, lady. I don't like being used.
Lie? What lie?
That Heather was kidnapped from you.
But it's true. She was originally one of us. That man, Harry Mason, stole her away and kept her hidden from us.
Yeah, but she says she was happy.
She was brainwashed by him, deceived, because her true self had not yet awoken. She carries God within her. But when a lesser, Mother of God, truly awakens,
Yeah? What's gonna happen?
she will usher in the eternal paradise.
What kind of place is that?
A place with no pain, no hunger, no sickness, no old age. There will be no greed or war, and all will live by God's grace alone.
No this, no that, no nothing. A paradise? For castrated sheep, maybe. Sounds pretty boring.
I pity you. You still don't understand. You're going to kill me? Is it really so easy for you?
I've done it before.
Then I truly do pity you.
Did anyone else notice how shitty Douglas's argument is? Claudia's going, it'll be the end of greed and war, and Douglas's counterpoint is basically just, oh, that would be boring. Fucking nitwit. Like, of all the things he could have responded with, like, you're evil and crazy, and your god is some sort of satanic demon. But no. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this episode. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.